Creating a blog, or really building any WordPress website that Google loves, is a great way to make apple juice. Apple juice is when I take my laptop, an apple, I squeeze all the money out of it, like juice, and then I take this apple juice and I pour it on my hopes, my dreams, and my future. I'm the online CheapSkate, and today I'm going to show you exactly how you can build a blog or a WordPress website that Google's going to love. We're going to do it step by step, no step skip, and this is going to be easy, and we're not going to make the mistakes that get people lost on the search engines, okay? So to start it off, the first thing we need to do is get hosting. I'm going to show you right out the gate how to get $50 off on the best hosting option and totally cheat the system and put us ahead of the game. So for starters, click the link below and don't just ignore these prices because we're not going to pay them. I'm going to show you how to get everything cheaper. Just click get started. And then you're going to come to some options when it comes to hosting. Just get the cheapest one. That's enough. It has the email addresses we need, the free ads, everything we need to get going. I'm going to come here and I'm going to put a domain in, and whatever it is that you want, just select it here, fill that out, click next, and then hopefully Bluehost will say that this domain name is available for you. Once it says that it is, and this one happens to be, just fill this form out. You know how to do it, no problem. You'll come down here to package extras. I don't select any of these options. I'll turn this off. I deselect this and deselect that, and you see the prices just keep going down. The only one to consider perhaps is domain privacy protection. If you select this and you pay the extra money here, you will not get telemarketers and random emails coming from all over the world messaging you and calling you, offering to build you a website. Although it is annoying, it's not that annoying, so I don't really select this box. But if you can't stand telemarketers, cut that off. You want to come down here and start to fill out your credit card information. So fill it out, but don't fill it out all the way. Once you come down here, just pretend like you're going to leave the page. And look, some savings, $265 a month. We're going to say claim the savings, and then right there we save $50 on hosting. And I'm going to tell you, Bluehost is the best, all right? Bluehost is the best. And you're going to see it. It's going to help us when we do email autoresponders and everything else. So just fill the form in again, check this box that says you agree to the terms and conditions, click submit, and then we're ready to build the WordPress website. So once you click the button, you see processing. You're going to see the success message. So we have successfully gotten hosting. Then we need to just follow these screens, and we're going to submit the information to Bluehost as regards our password for our domain name. This is how we're going to be able to log into Bluehost in the future. So now you've done it. We got the password. We're going to log into Bluehost just from the typical homepage. And then they'll start asking you questions about your website. And you can answer these questions as you see fit. And then we will move on to the theme. By the way, the questions that Bluehost asks you, they could change, you know? The answers you give really don't matter too much. And even at this part with the theme, it doesn't really matter what you pick. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I'll just buy you a premium theme if you want. And I'm going to show you how you use your theme to get ranked on Google. But for now, just pick whatever you like, and then we'll get to this screen. So this is it. This is the control panel. We're going to do a lot of our work from here. And I just want to say that if you see this box and you see this box number stuff going on instead of your domain name, whatever you happen to select, don't worry about this. This is just propagation is what we call it. It takes some time for the internet to recognize domains, usually about 4 hours. But if you don't feel like waiting, because this is important, you can just go to the home page, click the chat icon right here. What will end up happening is that a Bluehost box will come in. Then all you have to do is just identify yourself as an existing customer, tell your name and your domain, and then just ask the person on the other end, can you please set my domain to my account? I don't feel like waiting for propagation, and the support staff can do it pretty quick for you. Otherwise, just wait. Now you can see that when you're logged in, you can see our domain there. Good old fully loaded diaper is ready and waiting. So now that we have that set, we're going to go to WordPress or launch my site. If you've already clicked launch my site, then just click WordPress and you will get there that way. So if you notice here at the top of the dashboard of WordPress, our coming soon page is active. That means basically that the home page isn't displaying, that instead it says something is under construction or coming soon. We don't want that, so we're going to immediately turn that off. So what you want to do is go to Bluehost in this left side menu here, click that, then go to settings, and then when you get to this coming soon icon, you want to toggle this button off. As soon as you do, you can see that and our site is live. Congratulations, we're up and running. Okay, so now that we've got that, there are 7 things that we need to do to make this site the way Google loves it to be. It's quick, show a little patience, it's just a few clicks and we will be miles ahead of the typical website. Number 1, the SSL certificate. Fortunately, because you listened to me, with Bluehost you get a free SSL certificate, and that's going to change this box up here at the top. If you notice where the URL is, you can see this warning message that says not secure. So not only is that a bad sign for visitors because it seems to indicate that they are walking into an internet minefield, they were going to be reluctant to submit anything having to do with email addresses or credit card information with this box here. But even more than that, Google doesn't like it. About 6 years ago, Google announced that they are going to take this into account with rankings. They don't want non-secure sites in rankings. So in order to give ourselves the best chance, we're going to make sure we get this lockbox up here in the URL. And to do so, it's easy with Bluehost. And other hosting companies, you're probably going to have to pay for it. So if you're using something else, just be prepared to kick out some money. But if you're following along with me, just click here on plugins, then click add new. Now I'm going to do a whole nother video about plugins. But if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a text box, and in here we just type in really simple SSL. When that pops up, all you do is click install, and then you're going to have to click again, activate. That will activate the free SSL certificate that came with your Bluehost account, and that's it. Once you have the really simple SSL plugin installed and activated, you will see the lockbox right next to your URL. And so when you pull up the website, you're going to see that secure symbol, and Google looks at that too. It lets Google know that you have a real business that's safe and secure. I cannot tell you how many tutorials I see or how many people leave this lockbox unlocked and thereby destroying their chances for Google to rank them the way they want. Today still you can get ranked with an open box, but it greatly diminishes your chances, and this is going to make it a lot more easy for Google to love us. Number 2, the next thing that we need to do is to make sure that our site can be seen by search engines. By default, a lot of times WordPress on the installation discourages search engines from indexing the site. So we want to cut that setting off, and to do so, just in your dashboard, if you go to on the left hand menu settings, and then after that just click reading here on the pane, and what you'll notice is you'll just come to a screen like this. If you just scroll down, really none of this is important, too important at least, but here you see search engine visibility, and we want to make sure that this box is unchecked. Fortunately, with our installation at Bluehost, it was automatically unchecked, but I cannot tell you how many times I've seen developers turn over websites or consultant on sites that are up and running and have this box checked, because oftentimes out of the box, WordPress has this box checked depending on what version you installed. Okay, so if your box is checked, make sure you uncheck the box and then click Save Changes. It says right here, discourage search engines from indexing this site. Why would we want to do that? Okay, we want Google to love us, and we want this box unchecked. Number 3, another issue that's going to come up when you get ranked is the way your URL is displayed. So it's best to make sure that this issue is handled as soon as we start the site. So if you come down to settings again, and this time click Permalinks. If you notice, WordPress gives you a few options as to how your URL will be displayed. The URL is basically these things here. By default, oftentimes WordPress installations have day and name or some kind of numeric combination in their URL. And what happens is when that is selected, when your site finally does rank, you start displaying URLs that are very difficult to trust. So right now, we want to come down here in Permalinks and just select the post name option. That way, when we write an article, it will say our domain name, in my case, fullyloadeddiaper.com, and then it will say our blog post, like, you can get a free diaper if you click this link. And when people see that kind of URL in the search engines, it builds more trust. They believe that they're actually going to get what they're looking for, and it makes people select you when they see you. So that's that. Then once you select post name, you just come down here, click Save Changes, and then we'll move on to number 4. This next step has to do with post attribution, and basically to make this change, we want to come down to Users and just click Users. You'll see the profiles that set up your site. If you notice, this username will also correlate to the same username up top here, but it does even more than that. So if we click Edit here, what happens is that oftentimes WordPress will stick this username as the email address that you use to sign up with. However, when you write articles, you want to use a nickname. And so what you can do is come down here and click a nickname. I'll just call it, my nickname will just be editorial staff. And then when you have themes that attribute authors to articles, or if Google grabs the author from an article, it will take this nickname instead of your email address. So you can put your real name, a pen name if you wanted. You can put editorial staff just as the default. And then once you've made your decision, come down here and say display name publicly as, and I'll say editorial staff. And if you notice, immediately up here it changes, howdy, editorial staff. And the articles, when I write them, will also say that. So to save it, you go down to the bottom, you click update profile, and that's it. Moving on. And then we'll move on to number 5. So the 5th thing we need to do to make sure that Google's going to love us is we want to click this Bluehost plugin, okay? And then we're going to go to settings. It's nice because this makes it very easy. If you're using a different hosting company, you can still do this, but you want to make sure, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult. All right, so for number 5 and number 6, we're going to be here in this Bluehost plugin. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make sure these automatic updates are turned on. WordPress core is on, themes is on, and plugins is on as well. So all 3 are on. And what this basically does is it automatically updates the code. So if a new release of your plugin, of your theme, or of the WordPress core code comes out, Bluehost will automatically go up there, get it, and install it. And that's important because once you start getting ranked and people find your site, most of the time, all of the time, hackers start to come and they start to try to break in and steal your traffic. And the number 1 vulnerability that is out there is code that has not been kept up to date. So the great thing about Bluehost is that it'll automatically keep your code up to date. And fortunately as well, these settings were already turned on. If you don't have a Bluehost plugin because you're with some other hosting company, I think in WordPress, at least the latest version that came out, maybe it was 5.5.1 or something, whatever it was. They had an option on the plugins to be able to at least update the plugins. But here we can update all 3, and this is perfect for what we need to get done. Number 6 is also found under Bluehost and settings on the same page. We just need to scroll down. And if you scroll down the page, you see this performance. This is caching. We want to make sure this button is toggled on as well. Caching is basically making copies of your site on many computers throughout the internet so that when somebody does search for your site, it produces the site way quicker. There's a CDN behind this. There's Cloudflare. You can do this on other hosting companies, but I don't have time to explain it. All we got to do is just make sure this button is clicked on. It makes our site way faster, and you have to understand, to climb the search engine rankings, Google wants you to be able to satisfy people's search requests, but in addition, they want you to be able to do it quickly. So anything we do to make our site quicker than somebody else's is going to help us to rank on Google. Number 7. The 7th thing we need to do is to get a theme that Google will love. Before I told you to pick any theme you want, but now we're going to pick a theme that Google is going to love. In fact, I'm even going to volunteer to buy you any premium theme that you want just by watching the video right here. I'm going to explain to you how that process will work and also the things I take into account when I'm making decisions about what themes I'm going to use on my WordPress websites. So congratulations on building your new blog or WordPress website. I love it, you love it, and Google will love it too. And I will see you in the video right here.